So hello guys, today we are going to be talking about quadratic equation. So what is quadratic equation? What type of equation do we call quadratic? So this is actually simple. We are going to express it in the most simplest way possible. So when we see an equation that look like this, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So now where this a is, b and c, they represent constant. This constant simply means a number, or let's just say an integer. An integer which might be a positive or a negative integer. So that is what a, b, and c represent. And this x part might be any letter, maybe t squared, maybe m squared plus bm or whatever. So what makes this equation quadratic? The only thing that makes this equation quadratic is this square that we have here. Any equation where the highest power of x in that equation is 2, such equation is a quadratic equation. Okay, what if the highest power is 1? For example, we have bx plus c equals 0, meaning the highest power of x in this equation is 1. So in this case, we are going to call this equation a linear equation. Now, although mathematically x here is known as the independent variable, but we don't want to use too much mathematical grammar here. So when we have a quadratic equation here, what is our aim here? Our aim is mostly to solve the problem. When we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, our aim is to mostly solve this problem. And to solve this problem, we have 3 methods we can use to solve this problem. The first method we can use to solve this problem, we call it completing the square method, which we are going to go through. Completing the square. The second method we have here is what we call the general formula method, meaning we are going to use a formula to solve the problem. The third method we have here is what we call the factorization method. So I said we have 3 methods. So these are like the main method for this particular level. That doesn't mean that there are no other method. For example, we have graphical method as well, which basically work for every equation, but we are not particularly going to deal with that here. We're going to deal with it another time. So, but the 3 we are going to deal with in this class is the completing the square, the general formula, and the factorization method. So what we are going to do first is that we are going to solve ax squared plus bx plus c. This particular equation equals 0 using completing the square method, and see what we are going to get. So let's go with this completing the square method. The first thing we are going to do when we want to use completing the square method is to transfer the constant. Well, this is basically optional. I call it the first thing, but you might call it the second thing. That means it's basically optional. So you can decide to transfer this constant c first, then divide through by a, or somebody else might decide to divide through by a first, then transfer the result. So it's basically the same thing. So I'm going to transfer the constant first. So the first thing I'm going to do is transfer that constant, which I'll say ax squared plus bx. If I transfer plus c to the other side, it will turn to minus. Then I'll be having 0 minus c, which is basically minus c. Now the next thing I will do when I have a problem like this is to divide through by whatever is beside x squared. Mathematically, we are going to say divide through by the coefficient of x squared. So the coefficient of x squared in this case is just what is beside x squared, the constant beside x squared, that is a. We divide everything by a. So then this we go for this. Then we are left with x squared plus b over a x equals minus c over a. Now the next thing we are going to do, this is where the completing the square is coming in, is we'll say add, please note this particular part, 1 over 2, this is constant, times whatever is with x. Now what is with x in this case is b over a, and this b over a is positive. That is why we are going to use positive b over a here. If it's negative, we are going to put the negative with it. Then everything into brackets squared. Now when we solve this together, we are going to have 1 times b, then 2 times a, we are going to have 2a, then everything squared. We are going to add this to both sides. So this is where the completing the square come in. So we are completing the square of both sides. So now the next thing is we'll have x squared plus b all over a x plus what we want to add, b all over 2a squared equals minus c over a plus b all over 2a squared. Now the next thing we'll do here is we'll simplify this, like merge this whole thing into a single bracket with a single square. How do we do that? So to make it simpler, we are just going to say we have x squared here, then what is inside the bracket that have this square too? You pick both. The x that we have here, this is it. The b over 2a here is this b over 2a. Now if this b over 2a is negative, we are going to put negative in the middle here. But since this b over 2a is positive, well, we'll use positive here. So then you put square on top of this. If you simplify this, you are going to get what we have here back. So this is equals, we'll simplify what is at this other side. So I will simplify b over 2a first. B squared means b squared. 2a squared means 4a squared. Then this minus c over a. Now the next thing, because what we are basically looking for in this problem is looking for the value of x. So it's just like we are making the value of x, or making x the subject of the formula. So then what we'll do next is we'll say x plus b all over 2a squared equals, we'll find the LCM of this side, which is 4a squared apparently. So 4a squared and 4a squared will give us 1 times b squared, we have b squared, minus a in 4a squared, that will give us 4a. We have 4a squared, that is 4 times a divided by a. This will cancel, we are left with 4a. 4a times c will give us 4ac. Now the next thing is, since we are looking for the value of x, we'll find the square root of both sides. So we just find square roots of both sides. So let me just leave that. So we'll find square root of this side. We'll have square root of x plus b all over 2a squared equals square root of b squared minus 4ac. Now minus 4ac over 4a squared. Now this introduction of this square root here is what will make us to introduce the two signs plus or minus. What does this particularly mean? If I have x squared is equals to 4, to find the value of x, we'll say square root both sides. We'll find the square root of both sides. The value of x here actually is plus or minus 2. And plus or minus 2, how do we arrive at that? When we say plus 2 times plus 2, that will give us 4. When we say minus 2 times minus 2, that will also give us 4. So that is it. So we introduce plus and minus there. Then this square will cancel the square root. We are left with x plus b all over 2a, then is equals plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over, we'll find square root of 4a squared. Square root of 4 is 2, and square root of a squared is a. Now the next thing is we transfer this plus b over 2a to the other side. Then this will give us x equals minus b all over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. Now we'll find the LCM of this side. That will give us x is equals to, LCM here is 2a. 2a into a will give us 1, so we have minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. And what we have as this end result here is what we know as general formula. Most people call this almighty formula. So, but we call it general formula here. So this is the general quadratic formula. But the method we use to arrive at this is called the completing the square method. So let's do a question using completing the square method to round this up. Now let's have a problem here. The problem is 2x squared minus 9x plus 4 equals 0. So we're going to use completing the square method to solve this problem. Now, we'll start exactly the way we did when we were dealing with those cumbersome letters. So we transfer the constant, which is 4 in this case. So we'll say 2x squared minus 9x equals minus 4. That is plus 4 to the other side turn minus. The next thing, we divide through by the coefficient of x squared. Now, coefficient of x squared in this case is 2. So we divide everything by 2. Now next, we have x squared minus 9 all over 2x equals minus 2. So minus 4 over 2 is apparently 2. So the next thing is we add, to complete the square, we add what? 1 all over 2 times what is with x, which is minus 9 over 2, then into bracket squared. Then when we solve this, this is going to give us minus 9 all over 4. So this is what we're adding to both sides. So we have x squared minus 9 all over 2x plus that plus minus 9 all over 4 squared equals minus 2 plus minus 9 all over 4 squared. Now, how do we deal with this this side? Just like we did the other time, we open a bracket, then we'll put the x at this side. Then what is in this bracket here? 9 over 4. Then because that is negative, we just put minus here, then and put square here. That's all. So this equals minus 2 plus minus 9 squared will apparently give us 81 over 16. So we'll look for SCM at this side too. So we'll have x minus 9 over 4 squared equals SCM here is 16. 1 is 16, will give us 16. 16 times minus 2, we have minus 32. Plus 16 is 16, that's 1, times 81 will give us 81. So we have x minus 9 over 4 squared equals minus 32 plus 81 will give us 49 divided by 16. Then the next thing is we'll find square root of both sides. So because we are dealing with number, it's actually easy because numbers, we can simplify number, unlike letters. So we'll find square root of both sides in this case. And we said when we use square root, we add plus or minus, or we put plus or minus at the back of that square root here. So square cancel the square root here. Then I have x minus 9 over 4 equals plus or minus. Now square root of 49 is 7 and square root of 16 is 4. Now the next, to find x, we transfer minus 9 over 4 to the other side. Then this will give us x equals minus 9 over 4 will become plus when we go to the side. So I will have 9 over 4, this plus or minus here, plus or minus 7 over 4. Then I can find the LCM of that to give me 4. Then I'll have 9 plus or minus 7. Now, when we get here, when we are solving, we're going to split that plus and minus. We'll put it in separate place. So we have x equals 9 plus 7 over 4, or x equals 9 minus 7 over 4. So we have x equals 9 plus 7 here will give us 16 over 4, or x equals 9 minus 7 here will give us 2 over 4. When we simplify this, we have x equals 4 and or x equals 1 over 2. So this is the solution to our quadratic equation using the completing the square method.